Okay, so we'll go ahead and do those multiplications. We've got the 9 times 3 changing into 27, and the 2 times 5 changing into 10. And then these two are simply going to get combined with subtraction. Again, just like the last problem, I could say order of operations, but I don't need to because there's only that one sign there. 27 minus 10 changes into 17, and I've evaluated the algebraic expression. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look now at example 3. In example 3, it's asking me to use the expression 1.8 times C plus 32 to convert each boiling point temperature from degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. Now this is a formula you will see in a regular math textbook. This is, as they've said, the formula. It doesn't work just for boiling point, it works for any temperature. This is the formula to convert anything from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So they've given us, in this case, that they want us to convert a Celsius temperature, which just happens to be the boiling point of water at sea level, which is 100 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change C into that 100 number that they've given me and solve the equation here. So again, using the order of operations tells me I'm going to do this 1.8 times 100 first. Now we can get the calculator out there if we need to, but remember, all 100 is really going to do is it's going to shift that decimal twice to the right. And as you can see, when I do that, one jump will make it 18. A second jump, well, that jump is empty, so we fill in with a 0, which is how we get 180. And we've got 180 plus the 32 at the end now. And again, I'm talking order of operations, but there's only one operand left. 180 plus 32 is 212. So at sea level, water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the next question here is still a part of this example. And at this point, they're going to ask us to convert the boiling point of water at an altitude of 4,400 meters, which is just 85 degrees. So we're going to do the same thing we just did, but this time we're just going to change C into 85 as opposed to 100. And again, that's simply because they've told us this time they want us to use 85. So I'm going to do 1.8 times 85. Again, order of operations dictates that I do that first. And then I'm going to add the 32 here. So I've got the 1.8 times the 85, which you can see I've done on the calculator to get 153. And then I've got 153 plus the 32, which just changes into 185. So in context to the question, we know that 85 degrees Celsius is the equivalent of 185 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the check it out problems here at the end of this presentation. So you can see we've got a couple here. We'll start off with number 1. It's asking us to evaluate the expression for the given value of the variable. And it says 4c plus 1 for c equals 11. So do you remember what to do here? Since they told us that c is 11, I'm going to change c into 11. So really what I'm doing here is 4 times 11 plus 1. Now you can see they've already figured out what that equals for us, but they haven't shown any of the work that's associated with it. I'm going to do 4 times 11 here, which is going to change into 44. And again, I'm doing that first because of the order of operations. I would do parentheses or exponents first, but there are none. Then multiplication. And I do have multiplication here in 4 times 11, which is why I wrote 44. And then it would be 44 plus 1, which is how I derive my answer of 45. Now, number 2 is much of the same, but again, just like we saw in the earlier progression in examples 1 and 2, they went from just one variable to 2 variables. So really not any more complicated, just maybe a little bit more in terms of the number of steps we have to do. So we've got 8q minus 3.5 times r, and they want q to equal 2.5 and r to equal 2. So again, we're going to take those values that they've given us and plug them in for q and r. So it's going to say now 8 times 2.5 minus 3.5 times 2. Right, and now again, I've got to be thinking, we've got to be cognizant of the order of operations. The order of operations is going to tell me to take care of both of those multiplications first. So I've got to do the 8 times the 2.5 and the 3.5 times the 2. We know where our answer is going. We know, because it's already written up there, that we're heading towards 13. So as we make progress towards this, we should see 13 developing. So I've got 8 times the 2.5. That's going to change into 20. And 3.5 times the 2 is going to change into 7. And as you can see, 13 developed rather quickly. I've got 20 minus 7 now. 20 minus 7 is the only thing left to do. The answer has to be 13, because 20 minus 7 is indeed 13. Okay, we'll wrap this up by looking at the final question here. The final question is going back to using that temperature conversion that they gave us earlier, and they're asking us here to use the expression 1.8C, or 1.8 times C plus 32, to convert the boiling point temperature from degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. And this time, that Celsius temperature is 93, as in 93 degrees. Okay, so we're going to start off, and again, just like we did in the last two, even though it's a story problem, it doesn't really change anything. We're going to change that C into 93. So I've got 1.8 times 93. Again, it's 93 simply because that's the number they asked us to use, plus 32. Well, order of operations dictates I'm going to do that 1.8 times 93 first. 1.8 times 93 is going to change into 167.4. And I'm supposed to add to that the 32 figure. And again, I'm simply doing the multiplication first because of order of operations. It would come before addition or subtraction. In this case, very specifically, addition. And when I do 167.4 plus 32, I do get 199.4, which is my final answer.